I've seen a few interesting clips on X today, formerly Twitter, about Restore Britain and Charlie Downs, who I believe is the campaigns manager for Restore Britain. He gets into a few interesting points which I want to comment on, but he does pretty much destroy the lefty Remainer, Femi Wale, I think his name is. He was very big around Brexit about 10 years ago. He's a person born in Britain to immigrant parents, and they get into a bit of a heated debate. Now, as I say, I want to comment on a few of the clips and then we'll discuss. So I'm going to get into it now.
Charlie would rather live in poverty than allow economic immigrants to come here.
Damn right.
You would rather be poorer with fewer immigrants.
I would rather be poorer than have my children and grandchildren grow up in a country where they are an ethnic minority.
So, first of all, I completely agree with the premise of what Charlie is saying, but the data doesn't match what the premise actually is. We do know, on the whole, migrants and migration to the United Kingdom is a net fiscal drain, not a plus. We know this. It may incrementally add to GDP, however, GDP per capita goes down, especially when the majority of the migrants are taking low-paid jobs and they go into social housing. So while the principle of what Charlie is saying I completely agree with, irrespective of whether it makes us richer or poorer, millions must go. The data doesn't actually back up it would make us poorer. We would free up public services, we would free up social housing, we would free up any strains on the roads, the NHS, all of which is burdened by mass migration. One of the biggest reasons why it's a burden on the state is you cannot accurately account for public services through taxation if you cannot actually account who's coming and who's going. All right? So, while I agree with what Charlie's saying, that the absolute principle of millions must go, whether or not it's economically damaging, he doesn't have to accept the frame. And I think he's acknowledged as much later in the day that it was a hypothetical, but he didn't need to acknowledge the frame. That's what I would say.
Remind me of your upbringing. What sort of school did you go to, by the way?
What sort of school did I go to? I went to a state primary and secondary.
Okay. And you're fairly comfortable now?
Why are you asking these questions?
It's just that Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage, Richard Tice, these are all people that are very, very well off.
Millionaires.
Yeah,
Come on.
I know, but I've heard...
Address the substance of my argument. Do you think it is right for British children to grow up as a minority?
My issue is, we're hearing from a party that is run by and funded by millionaires saying that they are happy to make the people of this country poorer for their own political agenda.
The country would not get poorer. As I say, the frame was faulty. However, Restore Britain isn't funded by millionaires or billionaires. It's funded by the party members. We all pay our membership dues, and we are paying for policy platform, and we're paying for people like Charlie to go on TV and represent us. That's the reality of the situation.
Not funded by millionaires. It's funded by our 140,000 paying members from the British public.
Is your boss not friends with Musk? Like supported by Musk?
He doesn't fund us. We're funded by our members. Many
sure.
Are ordinary people.
Yeah.
And just because you seem to have the irk of the millionaires, you don't like millionaires, fair enough, you don't like self-made people, that doesn't mean you can't politically align with them. I'm working class, I am not well off, I am not a millionaire, but I have the view of millions must go, even if it does make the country poorer. I'm completely on Charlie's side on this, however the premise is faulty. So we'll end this one here. We do need to get sharper on the frame, and we need to frame it around democracy. If anybody could show me any referendum or any manifesto that says we're going to import millions of people to substitute the population of Britain for people that were not born here, if you can show me that in any manifesto or referendum that the British people have voted for, I would say, well, fair enough, Britain's voted for it. All right? A bit like Brexit. No one can show me that because it doesn't exist. So we'll end this clip here. We'll end this one here. The second clip is a bit more revealing, and this is something that we need to reckon with in Britain, so I'm going to play this clip now.
sat there as somebody who shared the idea positively that we should be removing citizenship for people who are born in this country. That includes people like me. And Nick Buckley, who is actually Nick Buckley MBE, he has tweeted saying that I am a poster boy for remigration, and he is a member of your party. And so it's that literally saying people like me, born in this country, with my color of skin, are on your list of people that you'll be taking out. And for the record,
let's clear that up.
Kidnapping.
But we're going to talk about remigration because that's what he's alluding to here. Now, when Britain were expelled from India in decolonisation, many of our subjects that were born to British parents, such as the Jungle Book creator and I forget his name, Kipling, and Joanna Lumley, who many regard as a national treasure.
Oh, you little bitch troll from hell.
They left India with the Raj when the empire went. Millions must go, and they'll apply to non-Indians from Pakistan, from India, from all of the empire. They were all told to go home. They decided that because of the colour of our skin, we did not fit with their culture, we did not fit with their country, and they expelled us all. It's interesting that the white man, the white people, are always held to a different standard than the people of colour. If we're fighting for equality, not equity, this wouldn't be the case. Everybody would be treated the same. If India can expel millions and millions of non-Indian people from their country, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We need to have a reasoned conversation and debate about it. The fact of the matter is, all of these questions, all of these ideas, they're never allowed to be debated in Britain, because if you do that, you're a racist. You can only be racist if you're white, apparently.
I was born here, and he is talking about kidnapping people with my skin color.
It's not about skin colour. It really isn't. It's about whether you have ancestral links to the United Kingdom. If you look at Father Calvin Robinson, for example, I think he's got a Caribbean father and an English mother. Nobody's talking about expelling him. Nobody's talking about expelling people with ancestral links to Britain. What we're talking about is maybe having a reasoned conversation about second or third generation migrants that have not assimilated into this United Kingdom, that do not view themselves as English, Welsh, Scottish, Irish, or even British. They don't view it that way. Look at Shabana Mahmood. I've always questioned her loyalty because she seems to say, on the one hand, Islam informs every facet of her life. She's a daughter of Kashmir. And then when it's politically expedient, she'll say she's English. These are the people and the loyalties that I question. And why? Because of what they say to me on camera. So when Femi is saying it's about skin colour, it's not. It's about where your allegiance lies.
Is violence.
Well, let's just clear that up, Charlie.
Don't be so ridiculous.
Would you remove
if you want to debate Nick Buckley's opinions, you should talk to Nick Buckley. Right now, you're talking to me. Yeah, and I've just told you
denied your own
our policy is the deportation of foreign nationals. So we're not talking about citizenship. Foreign nationals who hate our way of life, who live in social housing, who are a burden on the taxpayer. Because that's simple common sense.
None of that matters if you yourself support the idea of removing citizenship from people who like me, people who are born.
And Charlie, is that true? Would you remove Femi's citizenship?
Well, it is the case that citizenship has been handed out like confetti.
Kind of a yes or no question.
I mean, the British Nationality Act has been a disaster for this country.
Charlie's completely correct here. I've made reference to this on previous videos on my channel. British Nationality Act 1948, under the Attlee government, when they created the NHS, up until that point, a British subject or citizen was English, Welsh, Scottish and Northern Irish, born in Britain under the Union Jack, united under a single king, parliament and flag. That changed with the Attlee government, who decided to allow former Empire and Dominion nations a pathway to citizenship to come to the mother country, the former heart of the Empire, and become British. And that was done without a democratic mandate. Nobody ever voted for this. Nobody ever asked for this. This was imposed on us against our will. Why does no one ever talk about this very basic fact? We were never asked. How many white working class girls and boys were sacrificed on that piece of legislation with the grooming gangs since the 1950s up until today? It is a colonial mindset. Now, back when empire was being set up, there were two sets of people. You had the little Englander, the person that did not want an empire, who wanted to look after our own backyard, essentially, our own towns and cities. And then you had the imperial mindset that says that we need to rule the entire world. I think that there's an imperial mindset that's still calling the shots. We need to have a conversation about what country we want to be. We've never had this conversation. Why is the country not working for the majority of people in the country, the working class population? It's stacked against us. It's not working for us. Our politicians serve us, not the other way around. We are not tax machines. That shouldn't be the way that it works. So when Charlie is saying that British Nationality Act is a disaster, he's right, but he's missing the very important point. This was done. Now, when the Attlee government came in, they never said they were going to do this. This was done by the higher-ups behind closed doors. I don't think it would have got any traction, or it wouldn't even been mentioned in the press. This was done by the higher-ups, and it was done to us. We've never had a conversation about what type of country we want post-empire. We need this conversation, and we need it quickly. We need to start talking about this question. Where's our place in the world without the British Empire? Is it our moral duty to bring the entire empire to Britain because that's our colonial legacy? Well, if that's the case, let's look at Japan. I think Japan had a large empire around the same time Britain had our empire as well. Why are they not having that conversation? Well, if they're having that conversation, it's very much Japan for the Japanese. So why can Japan do that but Britain can't? It's because they're non-white and we're white. Comment below, let me know. But this is the nub of the conversation. Now, Femi rightly is a little bit insecure here, and he should be insecure. The reason he should be insecure is I cannot guarantee in 50 or 100 years what type of government is going to be ruling Britain. What I can say is that the King's Prime Minister, his chief advisor, will tell him what the government of the day wants to do. And whatever the King stamps becomes law.
This order does not come from me. It comes from the King. He signed it this morning.
So we better be hoping and praying that Restore Britain is the least of it. I can't see into the future. I don't know what's going to go on. At the moment, rightly or wrongly, Femi is assimilated to Britain. We may not like him, but he's one of ours. Or we may not like it, but he's one of ours. But we will continue.
And it is the case that many people have.
It is a yes or no. Would you remove Femi?
Well, it's not a yes or no. Let me just get to the point here.
I think many would want to remove his citizenship. I really don't like the guy. I really don't like him.
It is the case. Again, it is the case that many people who do hate our way of life, who are not British in any real sense, have been given citizenship by a ruling class which the vast majority of the public do not believe in and oppose. It's an undemocratic and immoral policy.
So we'll leave this here. So do you agree with me? Do you think that Charlie utterly destroyed Femi? I think he was quite strong, to be honest. I think he was quite strong. We should be looking at the British Nationality Act, the criterions or the criteria of what it is to be British, how you pass the test, and the people that fail the test needs to go. This was imposed on us. We never consented. We never voted for it. Do you think I'm being polite? Do you think I'm being concise? Do you think I'm overstepping? Comment below. All opinions are valid. We need to start having these conversations. We need to start normalising the the context of the British Nationality Act, what it means to be British. Can anyone become British? I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. I think that there's many things that give me a connection to Britain that other people don't share. They come in and they just take what they want, and it's completely unacceptable. Millions must go. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe, do all of that great stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.